Hey guys, welcome back to the Personal Transformation Podcast. My name is Dan Storey, author of the Personal Transformation Blueprint. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about motivational quotes, and in particular, 5, kind of 6 motivational quotes that have really inspired me over the years. And I really wanted to share with you, not just the quote, but also why those are so important to me. You know, I find motivational quotes are just one of those things where you need to refocus. Like, it's just a moment in time where you can look at something and it brings about a feeling and energy and a refocus inside of you to really drive on and keep pushing towards your goals. So motivational quotes, really easy to bring in. And I don't know if you have them on your desktop, if you print them off and laminate them and put them on the fridge somewhere. Have something that can continually remind you and put you in that positive state of mind. And if these quotes help you and inspire you as well, then I'm really happy, and I'd love to hear some of your favorite quotes. But let's jump into these really quickly then. So I'm going to start with a quote from John Wooden. John Wooden is an amazing basketball coach, historically one of the best ever coaches in college basketball in the US. And he says that success is peace of mind, which is a direct result of self-satisfaction in knowing you made the effort to become the best of which you were capable. Okay, let's read that again. Success is peace of mind, which is a direct result of self-satisfaction in knowing you made the effort to become the best of which you were capable. John Wooden there. So why is that quote important to me? I think people are chasing something. When we're talking about success, often people are chasing something. Be that a goal, be that an outcome, be that a certain number, whatever it is, whatever you're chasing in terms of a goal, that's not success. That's the first or the next rung on the journey to success. And I think that we've got to realize that the journey is everything. Like, the journey is everything, and we have to enjoy the journey. And so I think while you're continuing to challenge yourself, and I continue to set goals for myself, is it's understanding that it's the feeling of pursuit of success that is what we're searching for. And success is that peace of mind, knowing that we've done everything that we can to become the best version of ourselves. So not comparing to others, we're only looking at ourselves, comparing us versus yesterday. Did we improve today? Did we get better? Did we challenge ourselves to do more with all those gifts that we've been given? So I love that quote there by John Wooden. Next one is another American coach, Vince Lombardi. They named the Lombardi Trophy for the Super Bowl after him. So, you can tell he's had an impact on a sport. And he has loads of great quotes. But this is the one that stands out for me the most. And he says, "I firmly believe that any man's finest hour, the greatest fulfillment of all that he holds dear, is that moment when he has worked his heart out in a good cause and lies exhausted on the field of battle, victorious." So many great points in there. Let me read that one again, and then we'll dive into why that's important. So Vince Lombardi says, "I firmly believe that any man's finest hour, the greatest fulfillment of all that he holds dear, is that moment when he has worked his heart out in a good cause and lies exhausted on the field of battle, victorious." Any of you who've played sport, who've been in the challenges, who've been in the trenches, right, of working towards anything significant, knows that there's adversity. Right? And adversity comes. If you look at the change curve of anything that happens in life, we start off, everything's optimistic. Then we realize how much hard work this is going to be. We end up in the valley of despair. It all feels like it's going wrong. And it's not until we come through that and work through that adversity that actually success comes to us. And so what Lombardi says here, the finest hour, right, the best moment is really that point immediately after, when we've put our heart and soul and all of our effort into doing something that is meaningful, that we believe in, that we are passionate about, and we come out on the other side of that victorious. Whatever victorious is, not necessarily over somebody else, but in our own sense, right? And we've all had those moments where we've tried something, we've been scared, we've been terrified, we've stepped outside of our comfort zone, we've pushed, we've continued to work at things, and finally things have come off. And if you can take a moment in those experiences just to reflect and look around and recognize the journey that you've been on, that is what he's talking about. The challenge, the adversity, it's all worth it, because once you get past it, you're going to be exhausted, but it's going to have been a journey worth telling other people about. So yeah, great quote there by Vince Lombardi. Next one's a quote from a sales book. This is Og Mandino's Greatest Salesman in the World. Strange place to be getting a motivational quote, but check out the book. It's really good. And it's not just for salespeople. It's really for persuaders, communicators, anybody out there who wants to challenge themselves to be the best in the world. And what Og Mandino says is, an onion plant is old in 9 weeks. I have lived as an onion plant. It has not pleased me. Now I would become the greatest of olive trees, and in truth, the greatest of salesmen. Let me read that to you again, because we're talking about onion plants and olive plants, right? An onion plant is old in 9 weeks. I have lived as an onion plant. It has not pleased me. Now I would become the greatest of olive trees, and in truth, the greatest of salesmen. So there you go, Ogmandino, greatest salesman in the world. Why is that important to me? I've been guilty of this. I'm not going to lie. I've been guilty of setting goals that are too small. And I think it's maybe a Michelangelo quote that says, our failure in life is not setting goals that are too high and missing, but setting goals that are too low and hitting the mark. And this is effectively what Ogmandino is saying. An onion plant is old in 9 weeks. Yeah, you can get to that goal really simple. It's not going to be difficult. You might challenge yourself to do a little bit of an improvement, a little bit of a step up, and you'll get there. Absolutely, you'll get there. But what impact will it make? And I think there's this interesting concept about habits, and been having this conversation quite a lot. Change habits. Just add 1 or 2 new habits into your lifestyle, and you'll find you get significant results. And you will over time. But the reality is, if we're going to change something and we're going to make a significant amount of change in life, we've probably got to do a little bit more than that. And so this is where we need to start thinking of ourselves less as an onion plant, okay, which is old in 9 weeks, which we can grow very quickly, and change our expectations of ourselves and actually stick at something for a far longer time. And this is what Ogmandino is talking about. He wants to become the greatest of olive trees, and in truth, the greatest of salesmen. He's not happy settling for tiny little goals that give himself a feeling of short-term success and a pat on the back. No, he realizes that if he's going to be successful, if he's going to have something, a life worth living, he's going to have to put years into creating that. And so my challenge to you, if you're listening to this, is what are your goals? What are your goals for 3, 5, 10 years away? Yes, we want to be winning today. We want to be winning the moment. We want to be competitive in everything that we do. But we've got to understand that at some point, we're going to end up at 5, 10 years away. And that journey starting today is what we should be building. So I love that quote. Yes, an onion plant is old in 9 weeks. Now I would become the greatest of olive trees, and in truth, the greatest of salesmen. So thanks, Ogmandino. All right, the next quote. So I said I was going to give you 5, maybe 6. The next quote is the same quote twice, but by 2 different boxers. So boxers obviously figured something out. Let me say it in 2 different words and see how you understand it. So the first one comes from Joe Frazier. And Joe Frazier says, champions aren't made in the ring. They are merely recognized there. What you cheat on in the early light of morning will show up in the ring under the bright lights. So Joe Frazier there. Champions aren't made in the ring. They're merely recognized there. What you cheat on in the early light of the morning will show up in the ring under the bright lights. He's talking there about the work, the grind, all the training that you do behind the scenes. And the fight is really just the culmination of that. Let's hear what Muhammad Ali has to say on the same topic. He said, the fight is won or lost far away from witnesses, behind the lines, in the gym, and out there on the road, long before I dance under those lights. So Muhammad Ali, the fight is won or lost far away from witnesses, behind the lines, in the gym, and out there on the road, long before I dance under those lights. Why is this one significant? Why is this one important? I think what a lot of people do is they turn up on the day and they have this will to win. And I've talked about this previously, and will to win is essential. You've got to be competitive. You've got to believe in your own ability to show up, to put your best effort in, and to get the results that come with that. We want to be mentally tough. If we're up against an opponent, if we're playing sport, we need to bring our best self, and the will to win is essential for that. But what boxers understand is they can show up on the day, but if they haven't done the work, they're going to get punched in the face, and it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt a lot more. And I think you find that out faster in boxing potentially than any other sport. And this is the challenge, right? Joe Frazier said, we're just recognized in the ring. We're not made in the ring. We're recognized there. Ali's saying that it's behind the lines, in the gym, out there on the road, long before I danced under the lights. So both of those athletes, both of those sports people were highly competitive, and they would show up and they would give it their absolute best in the moment. Yeah, nobody would bring it more than these athletes. But the reason they could be confident, the reason that they could go in there and know that they could do their best, is because they built it. before. They'd done the training. They'd had those early morning runs. If you think about the Rocky movie, right? They've been there in the grey tracksuit running when everybody else is still asleep. They've done that work. They know the fitness is there. They know the strength is there. They know the footwork is there. They know the coordination is there. They know the combinations. They know all of those things. They don't have to think about it. They just show up, will to win, and give everything. Okay, so question to you: do you have the will to prepare to win? That's what it is, right? It's not the will to win. That's essential. But is it the will to prepare to win? How much have you done to earn the right to be competitive on the day? Okay, so the last quote, this is a bit of a long one, but I think it's an essential one. I think everybody needs to understand this, okay? And a lot of these quotes, just so you're aware, and as I read this, they're talking about men. Obviously, we're just talking about people, right? We're just talking about people. It becomes a much longer quote if we have to explain all of those things. So this is Man in the Arena by Theodore Roosevelt. Okay, Man in the Arena by Theodore Roosevelt. And what Theodore Roosevelt said is, it's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms and great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. I'm not going to read that one again, but I will post a link to this. So that's Man in the Arena. Why is this such a big one for me? I think anybody who takes on a challenge will understand this, is that there's always going to be doubters. There's always going to be people who talk about why it's not going to work. They go, oh, I tried that. It's not going to happen. And so they put themselves on the outside. And it's not people outside, but everyone has an opinion, right? Everyone has an opinion. And for everybody who thinks there's a way to do it, there's always going to be 100 people to say why that's the wrong way and why a different way is better, or why they shouldn't even try in the first place. And that's not what life is about. Life isn't about sitting on the edge, pointing in and saying, this is what you should be doing, unless you've stepped in there and you've done it. And here's my challenge to you, is we often hold ourselves back from putting ourselves into those moments because we're worried about what other people are going to say. We're worried about the critic, rather than focusing on ourselves and saying, right, I am that man in the arena. I am the one who is going to challenge myself and strive. And yes, I'm going to fall down, because that's what happens. There is no effort without error and shortcoming, but I am going to strive to do the deeds. And it's that striving, right? It's trying. It's trying. We don't know if we're going to be successful, but we are trying. We are giving it our absolute best. And we're showing up on the day because we've done the work in private. Yeah, we're showing up on the day and we're giving our best. And we can stand there, regardless of what anybody says in that moment, and be proud of ourselves. Be proud of ourselves. And if we hear voices going, this isn't so good, we have to understand that those people are cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. I've been on some amazing sports teams over the years, and I've won games and those feel amazing. And I've lost games. And whilst the loss is painful, the playing the game is what was important. It is what was important. If you're in the game, if you're in the arena, that's what life is. Life is playing in the arena. Win some, lose some, always bring your best, always doing the work to show up as your number one self, regardless of what happens as a result, and regardless of what anybody else says. So that's Man in the Arena. So I hope those were useful. I hope those were useful. Like I said, find a way to bring motivational quotes into your life, whether it's just reading them for a minute, 2 minutes a day, posting some, having them as screensavers, or some people put them in their laminated copies in their wallet so they're constantly reminded of them. Anything you can do to program your psychology to be more positive. The research shows that we have 80% negative thoughts. We need to override that negative psychology by introducing more positive psychology, more positive quotes, by verbally persuading ourselves that we can be better and that things are moving in the right direction. I'd love to hear some of your motivational quotes. Which ones are the ones that impact you? Hopefully, you'll have seen from these 5 in a bit what I'm motivated by, and it's brought you some energy and joy to your day. Okay, I'll see you on the next episode.